phenomenal room to be in. As soon as I walked in, I mean, the energy was just palpable. It's inspiring, just sharing space with you. What an honor. I'm thrilled to be here representing Fit Spirit. That's been an organization really close to my heart for quite some time now, and it's been incredible to see the impact it's had as an organization on so many girls across this country. How many of you are physically active? Do you do sports?
No.
Yeah? Any figure skaters out there? Okay, I see a few. What about skiing? Basketball? Soccer? Some? Okay. What do you feel when you are physically active? Throw out some words. Amazing? Strong?
I feel tired.
Powerful? Tired? Me too. Do you feel alive? Do you feel more mentally alert, maybe? Yeah? Well, I obviously have reaped the benefits of sport for my entire life. I did any and every kind of sport growing up. I always joke that I'm the least athletic kid in the Virtue family. I'm the youngest of 4. I was sort of the black sheep of the family, but I think I had a little more grit and worked my way up. But I started skating when I was just 6, and I met my skating partner Scott Moyer when, we started skating together when I was just 7. So we're just coming up on 22 years having skated together and shared in so many incredible memories. But sometimes, as a female, it's not easy. It's not easy what we demand of our bodies. It's not easy to put ourselves out there, is it? To be vulnerable and to take center ice or step onto the field, onto the court. It's not always so simple, and I think what McKenna referenced in finding support amongst each other and in this network of extraordinary females, we can rely on that. And I think days like today with Grow Girls here, I'm so impressed by what you're doing. It's admirable, truly and invigorating, because there's so much to be learned by other stories. And I think probably the biggest takeaway has to be that we're not alone, right? None of us are facing this individually. I think whatever it is you feel is normal and is valid and is totally okay, whether that's in school, in sport, at home, in your communities. There's so much strength that can be found when we come together. I want to save some time for questions, because I think actually that's where we'll get to know each other best, and hopefully I get time with each and every one of you today. I'm looking forward to what's to come. I think some physical activity. So get thinking of some questions you might have, but I will say that some of the lessons that sport has taught me include things like goal setting. Do you write down your goals often? Yeah? It makes such a difference, doesn't it? I'm a very task-oriented person, so when I know what I'm working towards, I can get this laser focus, and it gives me purpose and almost a sense of calm, inner peace. Teamwork, for sure. I've been on a team of 2 for over 2 decades, but that ability to communicate with someone, empower someone else to be their best, to share in failure and success, and to build trust and a sense of loyalty. I think having a shared goal and a common commitment, it makes you really accountable, and it's a really special thing that can be applied in every facet of your life. Overcoming adversity and obstacles. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. In sport, injuries happen, failure happens, falls, setbacks. That's all natural, but it's how we deal with it, right? It's how we cope, and how we find it within ourselves to rise above the challenge, and actually how that becomes fuel. It catapults us towards success. I think that's where our biggest takeaways can be, our biggest lessons. So many things about sport and being physically active, but it doesn't have to be on an Olympic scale. I'm learning now, it's kind of interesting, I'm at this transition in my life where I'm not skating anymore and not competing, but I get to figure out what makes me feel good not for a functional purpose of being the very best ice dancer I can possibly be, but how it feels to move my body through space, and what ignites a new fire in me that is kind of outside the confines of the arena. And that's really liberating. That means, like you, I'm going to try a lot of new things, and I'm going to step outside my comfort zone and push myself. But one thing I do know is mentally, there's such clarity when I'm physically active, and it makes such a difference in every other part of my day, every other part of my life. I can't wait to chat with you about some of your favorite activities, and that's sort of the angle I'm coming in at with Fitzspirit here. But, you know, we mentioned that network of support. I think that's possibly the most empowering thing, finding that sense of self-worth and self-confidence. One thing I think about a lot, and I talk about a lot with girls your age, is this notion of comparing our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. And when you think about social media, everyone presents a certain way, right? On Instagram or Snapchat, I don't know what people do now. Anything? TikTok is up there too. And we can get lost in this idea that we're not enough, that we're not pretty enough, that we're not wearing the right things, that we're not saying and doing and traveling to the right places. I mean, it's hard when we compare our lives to others. And yet, I think acknowledging that that's not always authentic, that's not always real, and that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have quirks, and it's okay to be unique. In fact, that is a power in and of itself. I think the most beautiful thing is when someone is unapologetically themselves, totally authentic, and in tune with their core values. And I think just seeing that slide up there about the goals for the day, the core values are so similar with Grow Girls and with Fitzspirit. And so much of that is just connecting to that part of you that will set the world on fire, that will blaze new trails, that will step forward and inspire a generation. And that's what each and every one of you are capable of doing. It's beautiful to stand here and look out at the possibility, the potential, and the capability each and every one of you has to shape a new narrative, to change the culture that so desperately needs it. And we'll be relying on you because you have it in you. You have the power. So, I don't know what my time is like now, but I would love to have some question and answer time. If you guys have any questions, please fire away about anything and everything under the sun. Let's chat. I don't know if you and I... Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm wondering if you and Scott Moore are actually going to be at any or like Olympic events previously, like in the summer or something for the winter.
Okay, that's a good question. She was asking if, what's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
I'm actually from London, Ontario.
Oh, nice. Represent London. Okay. Sarah was just asking if Scott and I will be attending the Olympics either summer or winter, I guess. It will be in a very different capacity now, perhaps on the broadcasting side. We're not totally sure. We've always talked about wanting to get to a Summer Games, and coming up in Tokyo 2020, it will be formidable games. We spend a lot of time in Japan skating. It's so popular there, and we were there just last summer, and they're so well organized, so well prepared. I can't wait. I'm such an Olympic junkie. How many of you will be tuning in to watch the 2020 games? Yeah, more hands, I think. Yeah, there we go. Next question? Yeah, go ahead.
What keeps you motivated to stay active for so many years?
Great question. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily was asking what keeps me motivated to stay physically active after this long. Good question. It's tough, you know. It was my job for such a long time, and even still I found it difficult a lot of mornings waking up. I lived with sort of a constant anxiety knowing that training would be grueling, and I would be pushing my body to its limits. But I always think about this notion of delayed gratification, and I always walked into the arena or into the gym and thought, How do I want to feel when I walk out the door at the end of a session? What do I need to do now to ensure that I'm proud of myself later? And that always meant doing that extra rep, putting in the extra time, doing a longer cool down. It always meant going the extra mile, but I felt so much better. There was such a different sense of fulfillment and gratification having done that, right? And I don't know about you guys, but those were always my best training sessions, when I didn't want to do it, and then I pushed myself, and there's just this sense of pride that comes along with knowing, you can do anything. I used to think, if I can push through a skating routine when I feel like this, I know I can do it